Hello, hello. How's everybody doing out there? YDBT Daily coming at you every Thursday. That's right, every Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, PM. We do talking shit at 8 p.m. on Tuesday, and we do Peasant Chat at 9:30 in the morning on Sunday morning. Today, we got a lot to talk about. Got a lot of shit that happened the last couple of days, which is awesome. It gives me a lot to do, so we're going to probably split this up into segments. First of all, what we're going to talk about is the Shelby crash out. Shelby... I missed it last Tuesday where we talked about Shelby being, facing a lot of backlash because of their product offering. A lot of people were like, why didn't you put the 7.3 liter Godzilla with... Why didn't you... So they actually responded to criticism online, which is the worst thing you can do as a car company, because that means you are now sensitive to what people are out there saying. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about Ford doing what Ford does, offering you crate packages that probably aren't tunable. In the last day or so, Ford has offered you a 7.3 liter Whipple, so like it's just like Groundhog Day. Whipple GT350, Whipple, what's their higher end offering on the other side? No, that's the Dark Horse. Basically, they're offering you a Whipple Dark Horse motor, Gen 4, Coyote, probably not tunable, understand that, and then the 7.3 liter Godzilla. Now, I think there are very good applications for both of these motors, and we'll talk about why this is not a bad thing. Remember, guys, none of us are buying a Gen 4 Coyote with a Whipple on top to put on our notchback. No, that's not the purpose of this crate offering at all. And I'll explain who this is geared towards, but not before Mr. Bill O'Reilly tells us to do it live.
Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
PMAS! Nicknamed the PMAS! That's right, the best cold air intake on the planet. Nobody else matters. Fuck anybody else. Nick, PMAS, get yourself a cold air. DNHperformance.com. You're going to buy all of your parts there. You're going to buy fuel systems. You're going to buy cylinder heads. You're going to buy TFS high ports, crane lifters, push rods. I mean, you name it. You're going to get an Amory cup. You spend $1,000. Fuel systems, you name it. Get every single part on the planet at DNHperformance.com. Mention the show, you get a discount. To Auto Solution. Rami's on Auto Solution, the best late model shop in Puerto Rico. If you want to get your Mustang, Camaro, or Corvette worked on, Rami's the only guy I trust in the whole fucking island. And that's telling you a lot. Parts Farm, PartsFarm.com. PartsFarm.com. Used Mustang, Camaro, truck, late model parts, crank pallets, interiors, wheels, tires, body parts, shifters, anything that is used. Parts Farm ships to your door. And BAC Industries. If you sell drugs, if you like to sell a lot of drugs, you move a lot of yayo, and you want everyone in the neighborhood to know, you got to get yourself a set of BACs so they know you move some weight. And as always, we want to thank Rich Prince, richprince.com. richprince.com/YDBT. You're going to get yourself hats. You're going to get yourself hoodies. You're going to get yourself different color hats. You're going to get Section 8 shirts and hoodies, Hush Money shirts and hoodies. You're going to get YDBT vertical font, some kind of camo shit, green, high visibility, red YDBT, red Amory, red Dolo. Do we got red Dolo? That's the only thing we don't got is red Dolo. We got YDBT, hoodies. I don't think we got red Dolo. I don't think we got red Dolo. We got Dolo? Yeah, no red Dolo. Anyway, stickers. Check them out. RichPrince.com. Thank you guys so much for being just super solid. You've hooked people up with the show the receipt stuff that's back ordered and stuff. So I really appreciate what you guys do for us. So what we're going to do is say hi to the people here, and then we're going to get to talking about first of all, the Shelby crash out. That was hilarious. Nick, Clean 93 GT, Clint Stroke, Bilovesh, Z3D Kemzilla, Anthony, Frank Donahue, and Bryson Wick giving you all of the appropriate links. Sibo, John Bonanno, Christian Duran, El Verga Larga. Christian Duran again, 2 times. Stuart D and RoboStyle, Joe Jackson, Oliver 101, Stuart D, Joe Swish, Garage Bill Coyote, Mike S, Mark Christensen, Mustang Dennis, Sam Morales, Matt Oliver, Phil Fez, El Verga, South Entertainment, Mad, Gallo Bravo, the Jacobel, Toxic 03, Yogan Lates, Monty 540, Pegalos, Mr. Canada himself, Royal Coyote, SVT Pegalos, Nardi Mercado, Vegas 50. I forget his name. What's his actual name? Because I tuned him, and for whatever, I forget his name. Stefanski. Daniel Stefanski. I have literally zero interest in the Mustangs anymore. I saw those engines this AM, and I thought the same thing. Same old shit. Since 2015, Big Brizzle, Carlos, Alex, Puente, Bondovert, Craig Walls, Billet Noonan himself, Joe Reyes. If it's a 10R80, you're a non-driving motherfucker. Whoa, this thing just skipped everybody. Just for the comments, Chunkos, Blue Thunder, Garage Built, Gallo Bravo, Blue Thunder, Juan Salinas, Dustin Garrison, Built Boosted, Osman Condi, SVT, Toby Cockring, Tony Dominguez, Nick Nair, Cobra, Valley 10 Speed, hello. Good morning. Chunkos Memory, Thunder Biscuit, V-Town, Nunya, OEM Spec, Gregory Ovich, Bender. Let's get all the way to the bottom. And let's talk about the crash out of all crash outs. Peter Chow, Johnny Boy, Killshot, Anthony, Milton, Thor's Hammer, Cobra Engineering. What's up, Cobra Engineering? How you doing, brother? Alfredo Diaz, Mortal, Pointy White Hats. Whoa. $5. John Lucas, Mr. Fat House. Says the EPA has tied everyone's hands, including the OEMs. Since it's all about money, my dream solution would be some sort of modifier tax that could be paid at the DMV or something, but that will never happen. Let's talk about the crash out of all crash outs. It was actually kind of interesting to see. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, this is Shelby's crash out. So I went to my Patreon page where someone posted a screenshot of Shelby's crash out, and it goes, remember, Shelby released the GT350 and the 350R. It's basically a GT with an MT82 D4 or a 10R80, 5.0 Mustang motor, and a Whipple. You can get it with a Whipple. It's a GT, and they have BMR parts, good brakes, Brembo brakes, and just paint and shit slathered all over the car that nobody cares about. Team Shelby Club, Scott Black. Is Scott Black the dude? Let me see. Scott Black. Scott Black. Shelby American. Let's see his photo, because he looks like that. What's his name? Images. Maybe this is a different page. So let's just read it. Reminder: this is a friendly reminder to be respectful of others and on the Team Shelby official social media accounts. Hateful speech, nasty comments, and personal punches have no place here. It is okay to disagree, be disappointed, or have a different opinion. However, it is not okay to be angry, hurtful. No one is allowed to slam a fellow member. What? Boy, do you know what the internet was invented for? Their event or their vehicle choice in our digital yard. That also extends to the men and women at Shelby American, as well as the vehicles they build. Sadly, some recent comments and posts have been devoid of common civility. It is surprising that people feel it's acceptable to call a vehicle from Shelby things like parts, bin, trash, because it is, a flop, because it is, or shit and other profanity, because it is. It was particularly troubling to hear the people slam Team Shelby's as being lazy and losers. Those mean-spirited comments will be removed and posters will be banned. The uniformed comments are simply sad, too. The Shelby team tenaciously researched every drivetrain option you could imagine, engine and transmission. They looked at every option available, and no, Ford will not deliver cars without engines a la 1965 or install the motor you want in the car. For those cursing Shelby American for not continuing the Voodoo engine, Ford discontinue it, and it is not certified for current production cars. Slamming Shelby for not using it is simply crazy, and no, they will not reopen production for small runs. For those that clamor for a 5.8 Illuminator, that $25,000 crate engine is not certified for use in a street car. Installing that engine, certifying it for emissions, running it through DOT, etc. was estimated by an OEM expert to cost about $40 million. Yes, you read that number right. Plus, it costs $2 million every year to recertify an engine for emissions. Doing so would have made the car about a $200,000 car minimum for a 3-year run. That is so troubling, guys. Right there, he gave up some critical information. This is a 3-year run. 24, 25, 26. You're going to see this ugly fucking car all over the place. And they're going to offer you GT350, which are GTs with MT82s or 10Rs, with a Whipple as an upgrade. They spent enormous amount of time and money to come up with a new car. During that time, the base Ford Mustang price increased and thus raised the price of the 350. In the end, Shelby American introduced the car with a host of upgrades and new suspension. Suspension, components, and way more power from a proven power plant, the Coyote, I know. A new OEM level aluminum hood. Oh, fuck! You know, I'm so sorry, Shelby. You put a new hood? Take a guess on how much that costs to build and certify, and many other upgrades. So it is for you, the enthusiast. It's okay if you don't want it. It's okay to feel disappointed. It's fine if you prefer the current vehicle. But it is not okay to be uncivil, hateful, disrespectful. Yes, it is. It's our right to be hateful, uncivil, or disrespectful. Or spew ridiculous statements as fact. Team Shelby members are better than that. We don't want to be defensive. We just ask that everyone be reasonable. Please treat everyone in the Shelby community with the same respect you deserve. I deserve no respect. Fuck everyone. Fuck everyone and fuck them. So, I think this is the first time Shelby is facing the internet. Like today, I was today years old when Shelby actually understood what the internet is. It's a shit-talking playground. That's all it is. And you guys were mad when people saw that you released a super snake that is nothing super about it. And then a week or two later, you released the exact same vehicle. It looks exactly identical. Maybe the valance in the front is different. Maybe a canard here and there. But the thing, it looks identical in like bodywork, design, wheels, stance. And you call that the GT350. So tell me, is there $30,000 more? Actually, yeah. Is there $30,000 more on a Super Snake than a 350? Or is it just a more limited run? Guys, Shelby, are you new here? Are you new to the internet and how it works? Have you been so insulated by the smell of your own farts that you don't realize this is what the internet is? It's accountability. When you put out a product that is no good or perceived to be not any more special than the previous generation car, you can't go backwards. People would have rather you done nothing. I guarantee if you would have done absolutely nothing, they would have been okay with it. If Shelby would have said, hey guys, if you want to make your current Mustang a Shelby official vehicle, then you can go ahead but then what you did was so crazy. You are offering that vehicle to people. And people are like, okay, that's more than a $50,000, $55,000 GT. 100, let's say 90, 60, let's say $67,000, $70,000 more. How much more? What is $70,000 more on this vehicle? Now, what you say about the 5.2 and the 5.8 and the Megazilla, I appreciate. I appreciate you letting people know that it is not emissions legal. That's right, kiddos. The 5.2 Voodoo cannot be offered in a brand new road-going vehicle because every year they have different, let's just say, guidelines as what they put out there. That's why I kind of chuckle when people think that a 7.3 liter Godzilla or Mechazilla is going to end up in a Mustang. Now, that's not to say that a Cobra variant, similar to what like Fat House did, where it's borderline emissions legal or not. But I don't think Ford will put it out there. But we all know this: Ford is not going to put out a Shelby product. Shelby did. So now Ford has the ability to put out a Boss or a Cobra. Shelby is gone. There is no more Shelbys being made by Ford. And now you have proven to us that that's when it only matters. When Ford, the mothership, brings out Ford branded Shelby products, they have different motors, different transmissions, and it sets them apart from what they normally put out there. When it is a Shelby American vehicle, we can count on the fact that it is a badged up, body worked up, wheels, tires, BMR parts for another $60,000 to $70,000. So they faced some backlash. They didn't like how things went out. They didn't like the reaction. And now they're complaining that, hey, we're not going to tolerate this stuff on these forums. Yes, you should. Take it as immediate QC, immediate constructive criticism. What's $70,000 in this car extra above and beyond a GT? I would argue that you can buy a GT and build a better car than Shelby could. We'll talk about that for a little bit before I head over to the second story, so we don't have to trip on each other. So we'll get some reaction to that Shelby crashing out, and then we'll talk about the crate engine offerings at about, let's say, 8:30. Let's do that. Let's do 15 minutes, talk about this, and at 8:30 or 8:40, depending on how far it goes, we'll talk about the crate engines that are coming out. What they really found out is that we're not letting them get away with this bull crap. Says it's Dre Breezy 24 and not afraid to say something abso-freaking-lutely. Now Shelby has found out that you can be touched very close by. There are no more ball lickers, boot lickers, and people that kiss the ring anymore because they see what's happening. And shows like this, maybe I'm not fully responsible for this, but I guarantee people that say I'm a cancer, people that say I'm full of, nobody goes out of their way to peel back and pull back the curtain of what's happening and see it from a bird's eye point of view than people like myself. Maybe I'm spearheading the charge because I'm not afraid of the backlash because I can take it and I can dish it. But don't say I'm wrong about this. When these cars started coming out and you started seeing the spec on them, everyone was like, bro, that's like $80,000 more than new. What the fuck? Who runs that account at Shelby? No idea. The most super thing that they did was a code red, which is all Fat House Fabs work. They slap stickers and get fame off of Shelby's name. Do you mean if I don't put any effort into a product, people will call shit? Right. Shelby, late to the game, and wokeism, DEI, all that garbage shit is dying. Hell, they could have at least used the door course bumper, says El Verga Larga, but no, got to have that basic Mustang bumper. If they couldn't do it the right way, they should have not have done it at all. Shelby, you would have been better off not offering shit. So then you go back and you go, wait a minute. Why didn't Shelby offer anything in 2016, 2017, 2018, 19, 20? They offered you a Super Snake. If I'm not mistaken, this is egregious. If you are going by lineage, you would think GT350, GT500, Super Snake, right? Right? You think GT350 is a road racing car? You think the GT500 is a bruiser GT500? And the Super Snake is the king of the hill. Did Shelby come out with a 2020 Super Snake when there was a GT500 out there? And it was their version of a Super Snake was a GT with a Whipple on it, yet another GT with yet another Whipple package. Just like the most watered down blah setup you could think of. And people like, I forget the name of the show that actually tested one and saw that the bodywork was peeling off of it. What is so super about the 2020 Super Snake if there is a GT500 currently in production? Now that proved to everyone, I think that's when people started going, wait a minute, whoa. I thought Super Snakes were better than GT500s. So now you're telling me that the Super Snake has a GT motor in it, not a 5.2 Predator with the DCT? And then the code red really confused everybody, right? So now you're saying that it's 350, GT500, Super Snake, code red? But we all know that the Super Snake is barely any better than the NA GT350 of those years because of the Whipple situation. It's not impressive. And the bodywork was peeling off of it. It was actually really embarrassing. Throttle House took the car out, flogged it, and they're like, this thing is falling apart. And that right then and there tells you that the company is not geared towards a performance product. They're geared towards a product that looks like it's performed. Let's talk about that real quick. I had never thought that performance was multifaceted. I never thought performance was anything but racing. But Frank Perdomo one time actually opened my eyes to the different definition of performance. So Shelby can literally look you in the eye sockets, the dead cow eyes of most people out there that are Shelby owners, and say, this thing performs phenomenally. That does not mean it's fast. Because a car sitting still can perform if the main performance goal is to look great. It looks great. Look at that. That looks good. It's performing standing still. Perdomo was like, let's be honest. Performance does not mean racing. Racing means racing. Performance means what it's intended to be. So the GT350 in 2024, the Super Snake of Gen 3s, and the Super Snake of 2024s are not meant to perform the way you and I think about it. They're meant to perform cruising and standing still. There is different definitions of performance. So when you talk to a Shelby executive and he goes, this thing performs great, then you say, on a racetrack? No. It's meant to like drive every day comfortably and just look phenomenal. And it does look really good. I'm not gonna lie, it's a good looking car. But if you're gonna go by lineage, a GT350 should be slower than a GT500 or should handle better, but at the end of the day make less horsepower. And then the Super Snake should be above all, and it wasn't. They'll say, well, wait a minute, it comes with 800 horsepower. None of us measure our assholes. I'm sorry. Some of you measure your assholes. None of us measure our dicks from our assholes. It's right at the base, like right at the shaft, barely at the base. Just barely put the ruler right up against it. Don't just push it in. A lot of you guys are fat, and you push it in, you get an extra quarter inch or two. No, just right at, and then you go to the tip, and don't straighten it out. You gonzo dick having guys, just don't straighten it out. Leave it as is, and that's what you got to offer to people. But Shelby was going, well, it got 800 horsepower, so it's a Super Snake, but it's a GT motor. I don't understand what's happening. Gotta hope they don't completely fuck up the GT500. It's gone, Johnny boy. Johnny boy, there is no GT500. If Ford comes out with a Boss and a Cobra, they cannot come out with a GT500 in the same model year. Because imagine if in 0304, Ford had a Shelby GT500. And imagine in 1314 that they had a Cobra. If they had a Cobra, Ford, not Shelby. Shelby is just a parts company that slaps stuff on. Parts bin, slaps stuff on, puts lipstick on a pig. But let's say in 13, 14, hell, 2007 to 2014, Ford did not come out with a Cobra. They were all GT500s. So the nameplate that is GT500 will not come out if there's a Cobra on the horizon. And the rumblings are that a Cobra might be on the horizon and a Boss 302. Shelby is race-inspired cosmetic enhancements now. Wow. The KR is what you would call a Super Snake, a faster, more powerful GT500, but it's not. I know someone who performs well on their knees. Hey, I was in a local Ford dealer today, and they told me they did not have one MF S650 on the lot. They had a Gen 2 convertible for $25,000 and a 16 GT350 for $46,000. Tell me where that's at. Jay Walker, Mr. BMW himself. I personally can't wait to see how the new BMW M2 CS performs since it's getting all-wheel drive. It's going to be dumb. And you know what? Thank you, Ford. Ford, I want to thank you. Personally, Alejandro Flores wants to thank you. You have opened my eyes as to what's available out there. And it's better than the products you're putting out. In terms of racing and actual vehicle performance, in terms of performance on the track, let's just have that caveat in there so you don't play the mind games with the minutia and the speech. I am glad you're putting out shitty products. I am glad that the only performance upgrade on any 24 Mustang is a Whipple, because now I go like this. Wait, what's that? Oh, wait, BMW's over there kicking ass? Oh, wait, Chevy has an E-Ray, C8, Z06, and an up-and-coming Z01, a Blackwing, and a V8 Escalade with a blower? I had blinders on Ford, from 2011 to 2020, I had blinders on, and I didn't care what anyone else put out because you guys are putting out phenomenal shit. Y'all could not miss. But all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. COVID, you could say COVID was a turning point, and you guys just started putting out worse and worse products. Maybe you were way ahead of the curve of meeting certain guidelines by certain government entities or bureaucracies. They're like, you got to meet these guidelines, and you were ahead of the curve, and you thought, well, this is going to be the best, and you heard Camaro's going away because they didn't want to. In hindsight, let's go back. Isn't it better that Chevy and Dodge stop making the Camaro instead of watering it down? You could make that argument. I can make that argument. Chevy was like, I don't want to make it shit, so we'll just discontinue. It's not selling that great. They're offering crazy incentives on EVs and hybrids, so we'll concentrate on that, but we're not going to water down this brand. I'd rather cut it off and be done. Dodge really fucked up. By offering the Charger electric thing with like scowling exhausts, and it's ugly as shit, and it's long, it's hideous. So I'm hoping that they can maybe bring back a small, tight little CUDA with a Hemi back in it now that Bobby Trump is in there. How it performs parked Alex Video, exactly. Tyler says, unfortunately, old guys will still buy it because they're making a small amount. That's the only reason they'll buy it. If they were going to make a bunch, they would have been sitting on lots. Unfortunately, old guys will still buy it. You could slap a Shelby badge on a literal turd, and the boomers will be all over it. RTR with an EcoBoost Mustang. Jimmy Jam says, it's not all Jort wearing New Balance sneaker motherfuckers are going to afford Shelbys now. Gen X and millennials can swing them now. So they better be ready for brutal honesty. That is a great point. No more can the guy that fought in the Korea War shut his mouth and did as he was told. The old school generation that yes sir, no sir, don't question authority, we're buying your Shelbys. Now, motherfuckers like me can afford it. I can buy it. So if you put out a product that I think is shit, I'm going to say so. Whereas the other guys would go, we're just, I remember back in Vietnam. Now shut up. It's over. Those guys are not buying your cars anymore. Those guys are just out of the game. It is now millennials and Gen Xers that are the 40 and late 30-year-old, hell, 50 and late 30-year-old people that can now afford your product. And you don't have anyone over there that has a finger on the pulse of what those motherfuckers like. Because those are the guys that have money nowadays. All the other guys are retired and gone and dead. The Mustang will be discontinued if sales continue to trend this way, says EPA. Only a Mach-E will be available. Kind of wish Ford starts making the Probe again. Dodge watered it down. After watching 24 Hours of Daytona, it makes me want a C8. Bro, the 24 Hours of Daytona and that guy flipping off the BMW guy was, I hate to use this word, but it was epic. There are shirts being made because of that motherfucker and the win that Chevy pulled off in their class. Maintain a decent legacy? Nah, Ford Shelby would rather trash theirs. I'm so tired of arguing with people that saying it's okay to be tunable. It's okay, it'll be tunable eventually, or be patient. Everything takes time to tune. Shaking my head. Nope. 15, now. 11 and 14, now. 18 was instantly tunable. 18 was instantly tunable. We just had to have access to parameters, but it was instantly tunable. And then 21 to 23, you can, we only got the access to this and that. We're seeing issues. 24, lockdown. Now, I've had conversations with the brass at Lund. I had very, very detailed conversations. And I love that they agree with me. I say, hey, guys, do you think that if the 24 Mustang it's already a year old, guys, we're in 2025. The 24 Mustang was introduced in late 23. Yes, August or October of 2023 was when the 24 Mustang was introduced. Went a whole year with nothing but Whipple cucks loving that thing with octane booster. With and I got that tune for a lot of you motherfuckers on Facebook that said Alex is just lying. I have the data log of a 24 Mustang sitting at 0.85 lambda on bank 2, 0.86, 20 degrees of spark advance, 2.0 load, 18 pounds of boost. Come on, screaming for its life. So don't put me. Keep talking that shit. I'll make a whole 2-hour video dissecting the data log. Stop it. Don't fuck with me. So where the fuck was I going with that? So I said, if by the first quarter, the 24 Mustang is not tunable, do you agree with me that it probably won't be tunable till the end of the year? They go, yeah. Why? Because that's how it's been in the past. The Corvette took 2 full years to unlock. Now it's all over the place being tuned and great. The Cadillac CTS and the Global B architecture took a while to unlock. Now they're all getting after it. Once they crack the Ford stuff, that means Junior's going to hammer down. Me and the other guys are going to have to hammer down, put our heads down and just tune while Junior is off in his own little world. And then he figures out how to best configure that file, because it is a Lund tune after all. And once that is all done, we will then support the combo, NA, boosted, turbo, whatever. It's map. So you can kind of do whatever. Ford must have lost some really good people during COVID. It would be interesting to know if the people who developed the 350 retired or were forced out during that time. They need to go racing and develop that cars that way, sitting in a boardroom and looking at parts catalog. But they'll tell you that they're racing using the GT3 excuse. They did win their class in the 24 Hours of Daytona, but at the end of the day, does that translate to the street when it is not tunable? I want that carbon fiber dual inlet intake they got on that car. Wait until Zoomers are able to discern and purchase cars. Oof. Wait until Zoomers start making money. You're going to get not only brutal honesty, you're going to get the meme game. You have no idea what Zoomers will do to you, Shelby. You think it's bad that millennials and Gen Xers are pushing your shit in? Wait till Zoomers that were raised on, I'm not even going to say it because I might get, some bullshit. But the memes on Instagram, they're not necessarily friendly. They're pretty racist. They're pretty crazy. They don't give a fuck. The fucks are gone. And now that you can say gay and retard again because Bobby Trump's in the office, get ready for some bullshit. You think saying parts bin trash was hurting your feelings? Wait until they start making memes splattering your face on shit. You're gonna be like, oh, this is gonna be a problem. Armando, no more dating channel. Stop asking. Jesus Christ. It made no money. Every girl that I dated saw the dating channel was like, nah, I'm fucking with this guy. So I was literally turning pussy away. Critical thinking activity for the Amri. Think about it. Which generation could be consulted on the car game? Gen X? We know how old heads knowledge and understand the car tech coming out. Gen X was raised on Gran Turismo. All the other homosexuals were raised on the Forza. Forza's for bitches. Gran Turismo's for men. Okay? So Gran Turismo, Gen Xers, Forza, every other cuck that thinks he knows about cars. Let's talk about the crate engine program because it is 8:30 and we're going to do it via segments. Ford Performance rolls out 2 new supercharged V8 crate engines. This was today, I think, January 30th. That's right. Based on the 7.3-liter Godzilla and the 5-liter Coyote, these setups benefit from another 3-fucking-liter Whipple. Wow, the diversity on these platforms is unbelievable. One day you're going to look at a car and go, what the fuck is that? It's a Gen 4 with a Whipple. What's that? It's a Whipple. We want turbos. We want centrifugals. We want choice. We want big high-rise intakes. We want variety. Not everybody wants a fucking Whipple on their shit. As part of the Blue Oval's continued reaffirmation of the commitment of the enthusiast market, Ford Performance has just rolled out 2 brand new versions of the brand's most desirable crate engines. Based on the company's 7.3-liter and 5-liter V8s, these supercharged monsters, oh my God, promise to take your next project car to the next level. Fans of the brand new and fans of the brand are likely to and already familiar with the 7.3 Godzilla, which does service Ford Super Duty platforms like the original crate offerings. Megazilla 2.0 packages include Ford's internal hardware like steel crankshaft, pistons, connecting rods, improved drivability over the standard 7.3 durability over the 7.3 liter. The heads are also ported and polished with the upgraded valve springs over the standard Godzilla. Unlike its naturally aspirated predecessor, however, Megazilla 2.0 packs a Gen 6 model Whipple. Ford says the package should produce more than 1,000 horsepower behind the asshole, so it makes 800 wheel, which is good for a big inch pushrod blown motor. Through the brand makes sure to note that this is an off-road only use offering. I repeat, Ford says that the package should produce more than 1,000 horsepower final trim, though the brand makes sure to note that this is an off-road use only offering. For reference, naturally aspirated Megazilla produced 615, 670 of torque in stock form. Ford Coyote-based offering is good for on-road use, however, and even comes back with a Ford Performance warranty for 2 years. For 2 years and 24,000 miles. So it comes with a Whipple tune. So guys, you're not able to tune a Gen 4 crate motor Coyote with a Whipple on it. The package starts with the Mustang Dark Horse's tuned up 5.0, which provides 500 horse in stock form. From there, the engine receives a 3-liter Whipple blower as well as a new control module for the powertrain. Ford says that the package should provide buyers with at least 800 horsepower, 700 rear wheel horsepower, and 615 pound-feet of torque, which are monstrous gains over the naturally aspirated engine. The fact that the system is street legal is also quite impressive. It significantly exceeds the SI50 GT500 level of performance. SI50 Gen GT500 levels of performance. Again, the fact that the system is street legal is quite impressive, as it significantly exceeds the S550 Gen Mustang GT500 level of performance. Remember what I said about the word performance? On paper, it makes 40 more horsepower with a smaller displacement motor, the 5.0 versus the 5.2. No word from Ford yet as to whether or not this package is 50 state legal. They don't know. But the brand has been known to get California Air Resource CARB, which is the irrelevant validation work for these kits in the past. Both of these new supercharged offerings will be available to purchase starting in the fourth quarter of 2025 at Ford Performance when local dealership servicing as purchase locations. No price information is available at this time, but expect that info will come when the weather turns warmer. We can't wait to see what sort of crazy builds will come with these new packages. Now, there is a home for these engine packages, guys, and it is on things that you like. Shops build packages that are turnkey. right? So let's say you have Superformance. Superformance wants a 1,000 horsepower package. So Superformance offers a Cobra with a 1,000 horsepower package. They'll get a Megazilla, and they'll call it the 1,000 horsepower Megazilla 2.0 Whipple Supercharged 7.3. Cool. But then they say, hey, do you want a, bit of a less torque and more refinement? Then you're going to have an on-road legal, supposedly, Superformance 800 horsepower package Coyote. And then they just plop it in and you drive your $150,000 Superformance built Cobra down the road and never, ever tune it. This engine is meant for those people. This engine is meant for like the roadster shop, fat fender, like the people that just want to buy, slap, go. Buy, slap, go. Megazilla 2.0, calibration's already in there. I make a cold air, I make an exhaust, send it, send it, send it. Package done, not a problem. That's the intent for this absolute, crate engine. That's it. The intent is to just slap it in something, tell the guy got 800 horse, put the 800 horse badge, put the 1,000 horse Megazilla badge in it, whatever the hell you want to do, and you are good to go. This is not the engine if you want to do drag week. This is not the engine if you want to go racing. This is not the engine if you want to have a budget build. This is not the engine if you want to build a car to, let's say, go street racing with your friends and then modify it, put E85, 1,000cc injectors, 2,000cc injectors in it, turbos in it. These are not the engines for those packages. Those engines are Illuminators, long blocks, or FFRE motors, or bone stock 23 and under Coyotes, where it is 100% tunable. You can do whatever you want. Turbo, centrifugal, blower, 4 different types of blowers, nitrous, NA, whatever you want to do. These engines are for the people that have a big business, that build complete packages, offer engine package choices for the customer, and they slap, go, slap, go, slap, go. So I don't think this is a bad thing, but I don't think this is a good thing either, because if the 2024 Mustang, let's say you have a Superformance $160,000 or $200,000 built Cobra, and you bought the Coyote Gen 4 version of it, and you're driving around and you're like an experienced driver. Let's say you're an experienced wheelman. You get bored of 800 horsepower really fast. Guys, you get bored of 800 horsepower really fast. If you drive 800 horsepower for, I say, a month, you're going to go, I need 1,000. It's not going to hook, but it's like a drug. Once you get used to it, you're like, I need another high. This is just holding me over. So I need something that's more intense than what I currently have. So if you buy a Superformance Cobra with a Godzilla, you better hope that ORB or whatever the fuck LMNOP software is able to tune the Megazilla. But the Coyote, if it's still not tunable and they still haven't cracked the 24 PCM, you're stuck with that exact setup. Now, if you buy a long block, let's say from FFRE or a Illuminator long block, and then you buy a Odin, Magnuson, Magnum series twin inlet deal that can be figured out if the tuner knows what they're doing. I'm working on it. Whipple, TVS, Roush, Edelbrock, E85, 1,700cc injector or 1440 or 1650, and you can make 1,000 wheel horsepower, not behind the balls. Horsepower. Wheel. We measure horsepower here at the wheel. Crank horsepower does not matter to us. That doesn't even exist in this. Only the OEMs give a fuck about that. So what do you think about the crate engines? Do you think that's something that's going to be viable? We'll talk about it. Give you a little time to digest that. Jimmy Jam says Ford will ship a new computer with the engine that is more locked down than Fort Knox. I posted about the offers being rebranded Whipples, and one of the normies in the comments said those are all Eatins. Common sense ain't common. These guys think Whipples are Eatins. How many pulls does a Gen 4 Cadillac converter take with a Whipple? It's the crate Kayo lame Godzilla lame, says Drake5153. Watch carb deny manufacturers whilst their state is burning. Could you imagine? California's on fire, and like, no, you can't pass emissions testing unless you go through SEMA. And SEMA's like, what? We gotta do what? We gotta do stuff? All right, send it to us. 3 weeks later. Yeah, it doesn't pass. Kill shot. Yeah, in old Torinos, F100s, Broncos, etc. Stored for old guys that want to sit in the garage with a burble. Fuck around and with a bubble, he says. Fuck around and find out. Turvy sis hit him with a wig. No one doesn't want to buy, slap, and go. You, A-Wheeler, you're wrong. I love you. You're wrong. So I worked in a garage where they would literally buy a 700 cubic inch, 600 cubic inch, bolted on and go. Remember the old 502s from Chevy that had 502 horse? Is it 502? Let me see. 502 Chevy, 502 horsepower. Yeah. So back in the day, Chevrolet had these crate motors, and it was the 502. So it was the 502 horse, 502 cubic inch. And they now come to up to 605 horsepower, up to 680 foot-pound of torque. But that's wheel like 430. You know, it's like weak shit. But let's say it's got 605, so it's like 500 wheel. 530 wheel. It loses about, depending on the transmission, converter, stuff like that. So these 502 motors back in the day were 406 horse. Oh my Lord. How the hell do you buy a 502 and it has 406 horsepower? It's a truck motor. So this, for example, is what people would want. They would just buy it and they're just like, I want that. So the amount of people that would call up and say, I want one of them new crate engines, 502 horsepower. And what? Camaro. Drops off his Camaro, body off, restoration, sandblast, rotisserie, this shit. Brand new interior, put a 502 crate motor with a carburetor, put it on the dyno, makes a whopping 402 horsepower, and he just drives it home. Never to be touched again, ever. So if you can promise a customer, man, that thing got 1,000 horsepower, but then you don't tell them that the difference is wheel versus crank, and you play that game on the dyno. Oh, I've seen that happen many times, where you promise them 1,000 horse, but you never make a distinction between flywheel and rear wheel. So I promise people rear wheel horsepower numbers. I go, I make 650. They're like, really? Yeah, here you go. Oh, look, it made 650. Yeah, ain't no shit. But then if you go, man, that thing make 1,000 horsepower. All right, put it on the dyno with a turbo 350 transmission, a B&M 4,800 RPM converter, and the thing just never couples. It just goes, wah! And it shows 390 horsepower at the wheel. You're like, man, that's pretty good through an unlocked converter. And then you start playing you start doing the verbal gymnastics of explaining to him converter slip versus gear ratio versus drivetrain loss versus the day versus the humidity versus the, whew, boy, have I been there. But yeah, people will absolutely slap this motor on their shit and forget about it and not care. Because they're not gonna, do you think a 70 to 80-year-old man with 1,000 horsepower, to behind the asshole horsepower, which is still 930, 890, in a Cobra, F100, Galaxy, or Fairlane, is actually gonna get after it and do a badass 1-2? You think some old guy's gonna be like, oh man, I appreciate this thing, so yeah, I'm just gonna get in it. Oh, I think Rumble's real good. You think he's gonna go, no. He's gonna go, whoa, you feel that torque? I gotta get used to the torque's a little touchy. Lugging it at 600 RPM. Transmission oil's fucking going out to the side. This motherfucker's gonna do like a 1-2 like a man. No. He's like, man, this thing's too much for me, honey. I don't know, man. I built this 1,000 horsepower Fairlane with the Megazilla. I think it's just too much for me. Goes to the car meet, gets his coffee, decaf. Gets a decaf coffee. Because, the doctor said that you don't want to, you should lay off the caffeine, Gene. Okay. Yeah, lay out the caffeine, man. Well, I don't know, man. This thing, I don't need caffeine with this 12,000 horsepower Megazilla in my Fairlane. Okay, let's go to the cars and coffee. Okay, cool. Go. Slap. What's up, guys? I got my decaf Dunkin' Donuts. That's my 1,000 horsepower. Yeah, I saw it bucking all the way. Oh, it's just too much torque. Old motherfuckers ain't gonna do shit. Trust me, bro. Back when horsepower TV was on Spike, the only thing that mattered was to the masses was the crate motor. POV Hellcat owners Dyno Night seeing 580 on the readout. Alex, I need your business tax person's info. No, you don't. We just dynoed a 540 yesterday. That was a crate deal like that. And the thing made a whopping 378 horse. Unreal, says Killshot Racing. Converter so loose. Sounds like a CVT. Hey, man, did you hear that car leave the lot? Yup, that converter's, oh, man, that thing must launch like, what? Overdrive. Man, this thing is wild. I bet I could clear a Coke can if I do a wheelie in the street. Radial TA 235s. I got 235 60s in the back. Stretched? No, it's on an 8-inch rim. 14-inch, 8-inch rim. 14 by 8. Is the true LE47 the same as stock injector ATG? No! Wrong. Nah, man, they do that 1-2. He'll do a half throttle second gear and let off at 80 miles an hour. The 24 is a new 3-valve with not competition. We'll have a couple of years of shit before Dodge or Chevy bring something back to the table. Old people can't go too fast, so the shit the pants. I love my 1080 paddle shift. That into third spinning, fourth spinning, keep going. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Paddle shifting a 10R80, he said. You got to understand, bro, that we don't do that shit. It's an automatic. You put it in drive. The old guy that tries to get after usually end up on muscle car fails compilation video. There is a GT500 video that I think about every fucking day. GT500 crashes into truck. Red GT500. Beautiful car. And I think about this video 10 times a day. I go, this is the typical Shelby owner. The car is beautiful, it's red, it's shined up, and then he goes to a meet and he gets brave and people be like, hey man, get on it, man. He's like, honey, watch this. Yeah, badass. Oh, right there, you should have let off. You let off, and the thing goes straight. Clutch in. No more power is being put to the rear wheels. Nope. Pedals it, probably grabs another gear, thought he was going to ride out into the sunset like an asshole. Nice wheels, son. Good job. Look at what tires are on them shits. I don't know. I got the Goodyear Eagle one, whatever the fucks. I can't believe this thing just spun like that. It got so much torque, it just went sideways, honey. I don't know what happened. I know exactly what happened. You hit first, and when you went to reach for second, you ran out of talent. Paddle shift, moving, non-driving, flat, Anthony. John Lucas says, back when we used to rent our dyno, I always enjoyed seeing the old 4-bolt main carb crowd being so disappointed when they saw what their car actually made at the time. Quick story. The last weekend I worked for a VMP, they had contracted to dyno cars out of all places, Pep Boys locations. So Pep Boys for a little while was promoting their speed shop. Remember that? The speed shop where you get an odometer gauge. You get that same gray odometer monster tack and then like the oil pressure and vacuum gauge. Let me get a vacuum gauge. 20 inches. I don't get that. Why is it going to the left? I don't think that gauge is right. It's going to the left. So that was my job. I had to go set up the VMP dyno and put it on there. And Guess who shows up at 8 in the morning to a Pep Boys? Really old people with their Chevelle, Camaro, Malibu, you know, what have you. Fairlane, right? And I'm like, you hear the car come up. He goes, can I get a dyno? And I'm like, yeah, it's free. It's free dyno pulls for 4 hours, right? So the guy goes, I want to do a dyno pull. Now, what I love is half of these cars, you can't lock them into gear, right? If you're in second gear and you lean into it, it's going to downshift. So the pull lasts so long because you want to get past the point of it downshifting, so then you can floor it. So it just looks like a long dyno sheet, but at the end of the day, the peak number is the same. So I remember this Camaro was like a 78 Camaro, which what's that, a third gen or second gen? 78 Camaro, is that a second gen or third gen? I think it's a second gen. So long nose piece of shit. I go, what's done to it? He goes, 454 with a 7 double pumper. I go, whoa, you said that with some fervor. What gas is in it? Dude, it smelled like a lawnmower. You know what I'm talking about. I'm like, this is 87 octane. This thing it's going to pump marbles through the bitch. So I'm like, what do you think it makes? He goes, well, the crate motor says it's 400 horsepower. A 454? 400 horsepower? I'm like, this guy's going to see 230 and cry. Okay, well, what trans is in it? Turbo 350 with a shift kit. Oh. Say less. Strap it on the dyno. Nice car. Longest door I've ever fucking opened. So I get in it. And converter's like, it's B&M slapper. You know? And I'm just like, all right, we'll see what happens with this fucking thing. And then I'm like, hey, so the pull's going to be long because, you know, your TV cable is going to make it kick down. He goes, yeah. The amount of smoke and marbles, like they were like midgets playing marbles in each cylinder. And I'm just like, uh-oh, this is not going to be a good pull. And it took forever. And the smoke was astronomical, black, like the carburetor wasn't tuned probably had auto light plugs, gapped at 78 thousandths. It was some shit, right? So then I'm just like, I'm like, this is not even making 200 horse. Ain't no way. 189. You know, sounds cool. Everyone's like, yeah. Whoa. And I hit print. I get out of the car. I already saw the screen. It's at 189. So I'm like, here you go, sir. He's like, what do you do with his glasses? You know how old guys do that? He went like, he looked at the sheet. He went like this. He went. You look down through the glasses like this. You're like half on the nose, right? Like 189, and after 4,500 RPMs, it just dove off a cliff. Just dove off a cliff like the guy that had AIDS in the Olympics. Just dove off this shit, right? So I'm like, yeah, you probably need plugs. You have a very loose converter that's probably not coupling. Who knows what trans temps are? I have no idea what timing you have on the car. He's like, well, can you tune it up? I go, tune it up? No, these are just dyno pulls, sir. You want me to start turning distributors left and right? You want me to start rejetting carburetors? You want me to start, no, sir. You want me to start taking spark plugs out? This is not that. This is a free dyno. You have 189 horsepower, right? Cool. But then a Hellcat guy come up. A white guy. So I said, what's done to it? He goes, stock. What do you think it's going to make? I said, 630 real horsepower. He's like, if it makes 630 real horsepower, I will buy you a coffee and donuts. I go, get ready. It's going to make 630 rear. He understood. He understood. He's playing Fleetwood Mac. You know, I turn the car on. It's like Fleetwood. I'm like, all right. Back it up. Strap it down. There's a dyno mode situation, some shit you got to push, or I think it just shuts off traction control and you just go fast. 630. Everybody was like, whoa! Like everyone at the same time, oh! That's right. A modern, beautiful Hellcat that did not smell like weed was absolutely ripping and make. I said, what fuel's in it? He goes, I got race gas in it. I'm like, I love you. You're good people. Red key shit. Love people like that. So it was one of the best things I ever saw when the crate engine crowd literally think, slap it on, it's going to make the power. And in their mind, it's always going to make that power. And then you show them a 189 wheel, and then they're like, holy shit, I got to do a lot of work. Yes. The Hellcat owner was like, I know what this makes. 7 something, high 7s. And with drivetrain loss and parasitic loss, probably make 6 something. I'll say 630. Got me a medium, cream of sugar, and a glazed donut, bro. It's all good. Bro, that was the best time ever. Craig Walsh, let me guess. He sold it afterwards. I have no idea. But it looked like this. 1979 Camaro. Oh, my God. Like a brown version of this. T-top motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? T-top motherfucker. Like this. But it was brown. Let me see. Like light brown. Like the truck. Yep. Boom. Here it is. There's the car. Dyno that shit. Oh, it's got a small block 400. That's what it was. It's got a small block 400. Had those wheels. Had this color. Sorry. This color with those wheels. Bitch was nice. Got a crate motor. Small block 400 from GM Performance. Oh, 189 horsepower. Congratulations. Tell your wife about it. What a piece of shit. I love it. It was like the best day ever. Love the look boomers give when they can't dyno their own car. Alex, you have to cover the Hurricane engine stuff. I saw dyno with FFE and different boost levels. Me too. I will cover it at an appropriate time. Right now, it's JB4 stuff. So I'll wait till like tuners get their hands on it. Alex's good history tales. Bro, wanted to work utility company with that plug gap. I am telling you, I could not believe the plug gap. Or I assume, because it was like you hear the spark. I'm like, here we go. Stay in it. It'll clear out. Piece of shit. And then when I got in my Fox body, I was like, this thing is fast. 450 real horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. I'm like, this bitch is bad. Bro, it's badass. Ugly ass car. Good Lord, ugliest Camaro ever. Hilarious seeing people get excited at a dyno pull. He didn't sell it after, but I feel bad for whatever shop installed that garbage for him. You know they got an angry call. Do you want to hear another one? I think it's story time with Alex today, right? Shout out. Okay, let's get John Lucas, because I like John Lucas. Let's get some of the comments. Gotta respect the Firebird version with the Camaro Spicoli special. I run C85 with the 85 tune. Do I need a tune for that? You should be okay. Worked at my buddy's dyno years ago. Those GM crate motors don't make shit. White trailer park half of me loves those. I still think the Code Red making just over 1,300 horsepower is still not appreciated by most because everyone conflates it wheel horsepower and crank horsepower. No, they just don't have any point of reference. You understand? They have no idea what 1,300 rear wheel horsepower actually is. They're dumb. The facts, John Lucas, Michael Atkinson, Alex, what's the best suit? Okay, hold on. Story time. So, I worked in Houston at a shop. I got so many of these stories. And a guy with a Cadillac, CTS V2, Coupe, the Batmobile. We know what it is. Come on, guys. You, for those of you that don't know what the hell that is, CTS V2. I mean, Coupe. Just the Batmobile images. CTS V2 Coupe. Pipe. Coupe. Coupe. Yep. Dude, this is the car. This is exactly the car right here. Right. Batmobile, right? Guy drops off his Batmobile. So this was before my time, but the car had been, okay, it's just going to take forever. The car had been worked up by the shop before, and the customer would come by, and he's one of those guys that would drive it like 5 miles a week. Retired fella, great guy. Would drive it 5 miles a week, shine it up at the car wash, visit the shop that they had a cam head package and a pulley. So they put cam heads, pulley, and they're like, yeah, this thing makes 650 real horsepower. I'm like, the fuck it does, whatever. Like, that's high. 650 real horsepower with pump gas? Okay, that's a lot. But whatever. They said it did. Through an auto, out of all things. But he would come to the shop periodically, quarterly, and he wants to make sure it's still making the power. And I go, did something happen, sir? He goes, nope, nothing happened. It's just, I just want to make sure it's still making the horsepower. So, I mean, he spent like 30 grand on the car. So we're like, all right, he paid for the dyno hit. I get in it and I'm like, I dyno it. I know what the fuck I'm doing on a dyno, and it made like 550. What? I data logged it. In case whoever, again, I was new. So I was like, here you go, sir. And he goes, this thing made 650. It's down 100 horse. I go, so I'm like, hold on, sir. Because I'm not stupid. I go, hold on, sir. Let me make sure that I have the proper dyno setting. I go to the owner. I'm like, how much this fucking piece of shit made when y'all had it? Oh, that guy. Ah, man, you know. And I'm like, it's a 550 horsepower combo. That's all it is. He's like, yeah, well, okay. So we invited a tuner to come in, and the tuner tuned it up, and it made more power. I think it made closer to 600. But it had low oil pressure. So we're like, let's not tempt fate here. But the oil pressure looks a little low to us. So let's not drag it out on the dyno. But it made like 600. It got retuned. I looked over everything. I was with the tuner. Everything looked pretty safe. It didn't detonate. Everything was pretty happy. I'm like, all right, made 600. Shipped it to the gentleman. Gave him the dyno sheet. But the problem is this. Thank you, Nardi Mercado. Right. I don't know if they fucked with the dyno number to give it the proper dyno number so that the customer is happy, which I think is crazy, but it happens. Sorry. So, not with us, but a lot of shops manipulate the number. So he goes home scratching his head going, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. Like, sorry, sir. I think this, I don't know if what you saw before, but like, I don't have that dyno sheet where it made 650 and I don't have the data log. All I can tell you is what it's making right now. So now in his mind, he's like, it's losing power. So he's now paranoid. Again, this Cadillac had maybe 5,000 miles on it. So he comes back a week later, and I'm not there. Another person grabs the customer. Customer wants to dyno it again. And I would have told the person dynoing it, don't go over 5,000 RPMs. It had low oil pressure. While they were dynoing it. I'm sure in the morning it went up to 50, 60, and it was fine. But then it would work its way back down. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on with this motor. And I don't know if those things are prone to having bad fuel pump issues. But unbeknownst to me, I was out, I think, making a run or errand or something for the shop. And they grenaded the motor on the dyno. Just fucking pow! Fucking pistons. Just, shit everywhere. The dejected look on this gentleman's face, it almost made me cry. He looked like he was going to cry. He was an old guy. This is all he had. And it wasn't a smoothing. It's a Mustang dyno. You know about Mustang dynos. Parasitic multiplier 1.3. Anyway, so he is now like dejected. And I was like, what the fuck happened? He goes, the car blew up on the dyno. And I'm like, why is he back? I would have tried to convince him not to put on the dyno. It blew up. It chunks, rods, just made a window. So this guy's like crying. So they just give him to me. Oh, hey, smooth it over. See what he wants to do. I got to do that? Yeah. So luckily I'm a good talker. I go, sir, things happen. At this power level, shit happens. You understand? I understand this is your baby, but we can build her better. You understand? And this is where I needed to look at myself in the mirror and like myself. And I started to hate myself. Because I know he wasn't done right. But now I got to make it work. We can make it better, sir. We can come back and give you just a Billy badass LS in this thing. Chopping, running good. I think you'll like what we're going to do. Just, we'll work with you. We'll work with you. Meaning we ain't going to work with you. Meaning we're going to charge you more than we normally would have. So I was one of those customers that started to make me go, I can't do this no more. Because he's such a nice guy. He was done dirty. And now I have to fucking clean up the mess of something that I had nothing to do with. So this industry is super fucked up. Like I've seen those end of the industries. I've seen the other end of the industries. I've seen the sales end. I've seen the mechanic end. I've seen all of it. So when you guys wonder where my opinion comes from, I have more experience in many facets of this industry, more experience than most. And I know how to talk to a customer, especially in the ticket system. I'm like, hey man, let's talk. What are your goals? What do you expect out of this? This is beyond the power threat. This is about 50 horse past safe. So I would back it down if I were you. You know, like I am now one of these guys because I come from a place of authority that I go, no, you wanted to live a long life. You don't do that. I love the customers that go, give me the most powerful tune you got, but just back it off a little bit. Like go right up to the edge, like right before you're going to go off the edge and die, back it off. Oh, got it. So I know exactly when the rod is going to fly out the bitch, and I'll back it right off right before that. Come on, stop it. Actually, garage built, that's exactly what he got. That's exactly what he got. He got a Texas speed motor. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. Change that load. It's over, Johnny. What's that smell? That was his baby. Dude, tall guy, skinny, beard, just looked like he was going to cry. And he looked at, the car was up on the lift. There's a big hole in the side of the block. There's oil all over the fucking control arm, the steering arm. And I'm like, sir, we're going to bring it back. Don't you worry. She'll be better than she ever was. You would have never. This is a silver lining. He had the money, but I didn't like taking it from him. Bondo says, Whipple has an inertia dyno jet. Our numbers aren't inflated. I love Bondo. Mustang dynos are always read low. Yeah, not until you go 1.3 and they all of a sudden read more. Yeah, Alex, fluff buddy up. Yeah, right. Nice shirt. Thank you, Dead Cell. Easier. Now, other people, Bondo says, easier. Now, other people who post numbers with their Whipple cars, that's a different story. Thank you. I appreciate you putting that little qualifier in there. Nardi says, did you guys ship it back to him on a junk car carrier? Like, no, we kept it at the shop inside because he didn't like the car sleeping outside. He goes, this car's never seen rain. You understand, boy? This car never seen rain. So like, you better not burn this thing outside and let it sit in the weeds like all the other cars that are out there. No, sir, it's going to stay inside. Man, I push that bitch out every night. Fuck out of here. I want to talk about shady sales is the worst part of the industry. Alfredo Diaz says, not gonna lie, I've dealt with that style of shop when it was still new to building cars. John Lucas says, there's nothing worse than a potluck performance shop that works on a mix of everything, both from the customer side and the shop side. Nobody wins. So when I went to that shop, it was like, hey man, you know anything about late model stuff? I'm like, yeah. We want to do that. I'm like, y'all ain't got motherfuckers back there that can do shit. Y'all ain't got motherfuckers back there that can, no, fuck that. Dude, no. Give me the full bitch, then pull it out just a bit. The computer tells you when the piston ring is going to go full. SpaceX, wonder if he's ever found this channel. Sir, will pressure, I don't care. It was 2015. 10-year grace period is over. Sir, we'll pressure wash it for free. Poor guy probably watching this show right now, paranoid about his TSP motor. No, I think they did right by him. They put a motor in it. They backed it down to 600 horse and just left it alone. Like, but I'm like, knowing what I know now about Cadillacs and Chevys in general, to make 600 takes a lot. Like it takes a lot to make 600 on pump gas. Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay, got it. A low compression boosted car with like medium boost with a bitch ass cam through an auto generally doesn't make 600. It makes like high 500s. Like big boy stuff, yeah, maybe. This is pre 2650 days and pre Billy Badass porting days. Johnny Trent says data log the connecting rod channel don't go past 95%. It's some weight behind the boy. They don't call it the heartbreaker for nothing. Got to specialize in something. Exactly. And I think that shop was great if you wanted to have a carburetor rebuilt. I saw some magic happen with carburetors where I was like, holy shit, this guy is legitimately a guru at rebuilding carburetors. Taught me a lot, learned a lot, watched him work. One of the biggest things that shop was great at was spec racing stuff. So like dirt car stuff, right? A dirt car would come in, and they're all governed by a certain sanctioning body. So you could only put this crate motor in there, like a spec situation. You can't go past this CFM carburetor, He would take the carburetor of that spec, work it over, and he'd have a guy come in to tune those cars. He tuned those circle track cars a lot. And he would literally get on the dyno and just go boo, 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 because, you know, they do circle track stuff. So he'd watch the curve. He was excellent. He was excellent at kind of seeing where the car, like, tip in, out, and then mid-corner where you're kind of on the throttle and then tip right in. Like, he would really dial all that shit in. And he goes, Okay, this is the best thing. This is the best tune-up I can give your car right here with what you got going on. And he's like, all right. He goes, hold on. Takes something off the shelf, puts it on the car, runs it on the dyno. It made 22 more horse. And he goes, that'll be $3,000. So imagine you have a spec car that meets all the rules and regulations, but yours makes 22 more horse than the other guy with a similar carburetor, because they don't limit what you can do on the inside of the carburetor. And people just buy it. Oh, $3,000? Yep. $3,000. Gone. It was crazy. Ain't crazy that I'm not going to name the name of the shop. I just got recommended a video of you and Donnie dining an orange Mustang at Pep Boys. Seemed like a good dude. I like Donnie. Donnie was a good dude. He was a little misunderstood, but he wasn't a bad person at all. He was actually a good guy. Any behind the scenes Lund updates on Tyler's and Zach's Turbo Coyote at 6 weeks? That's a great question, Begelos. Oh shit, you're not showing up on the chat. Why not? Why aren't you showing up on the chat? Let me see. Oh, that's why it froze and I had to redo it. Okay, so yes, let's talk about Zach and Ty's Coyote car at, what the fuck? What's going on? There we go. At 6 week. So Ty and Zach have a turbo that sticks out of the hood, out of the fender. And they were having issues with fueling. There was an issue with fueling. There was an issue with misfires. Once they figured everything out, they attempted to install a trans brake. The trans brake did not hold. So then they found a aftermarket torque converter. It was a stock converter Gen 1. That's it. It's a stock converter Gen 1 6R80 car. And with a turbo sticking out the side of the bitch, it's gone 10s. Now, what did it take to get there? They started going 11s on 93 or low 12s on 93. They put it on the 85. They daisy chained some whack ass fuel system in it. Junior's tuning it. We're shifting it low because IATs are through the roof. Yes, IATs are through the roof. And they don't have like a good intercooler in it. And they didn't have a converter in it. Now they have a converter in it. Now they're able to get after it. They attempted to do like a 50 shot or something, but it just wasn't happening. So I think that car, if you add more boost to it, all it's going to do is make more heat. So because they don't have a great intercooler in it, I don't think Junior is comfortable. The only reason that car is living as long as it has is because Junior's like, I'm going to shift it here. I'm going to give it this much timing. It's 180 IATs, so we think it's a little on the high side. So actually very much on the high side. Theoretically, you want it to be under 110, and that's going to give you another, like, I don't know, 50 horsepower to the rear wheel. So that car technically should go 10.2, 10.1. I don't think at the end of the day it's going to run quicker than a carbureted 210 with an LS in it, or with a turbo 400 or a power glide in it. One has a power glide, the other one's a turbo. This has a 6R8. This is a stock Coyote with a turbo in it. That's it. Everyone else has a motor from something else in a lighter chassis with a race transmission. This doesn't. So if it runs 10s or the best I think it'll run, it'll be like a 10.2 because of IAT issues. If they're able to, like, I don't know, pour meth down its throat, it might help. But since they don't have the relocated IAT sensor, the computer is still going to be super pissed off. Straight from the turbo to the intake manifold, exactly. No intercooler. So they need an intercooler. Guys, throw an intercooler in line. Like, literally hang an intercooler off the side of the bitch to help with some heat exchanging. It's crazy. Non-intercooled, 180 IAT. It's going to be a problem. And you can't do meth. Can't do meth in that car. You do meth in that car, you just don't have enough fuel system. So no intercooler. I didn't know that because Junior's messing with them. No intercooler, 180 IATs. If you bring those IATs down to 100, that bitch will make another 50 to 60 rear wheel horsepower. It'll run 9s. It'll run 990. No problem. Watch a video with Senior from 2 years ago regarding Black Bean. Senior's the man, explains everything with the car. Any updates on that car? Yes, we do have updates on that car. The Gen 3 Mustang that we have, called the Black Bean, now has Motec. That's right, we have it on Motec, and it is now running a 6R80. That's right, kiddos. It's got a 6R80 in it. And we're going to see what it does. But we did a quick little dyno pull with it. Showing you that. So Junior, again, Gen 3 Mustang. DI delete. 6R80 with a custom harness using Motec custom firmware, and Junior is tuning it today. Made like 990 wheel, nothing crazy. We have it on medium boost. It's got an FFRE motor and cams. And to prove that it has Motec, we revved it without the cold air on it. Just a throttle body out the bitch. So that is not a stock Whipple. That is a 3.8 CJ spec. So it has Billy Badass ported craziness. It should make at full song 12 or 1300 wheel horsepower once it's all said and done. But it's on E85. But it's on E85. Exactly. E85 does nothing. You gotta intercool everything. It's got no intercooler. Shop's name is Female Firefighters, isn't it? Is it DI active? No, no DI. We deleted DI. Yeah, Brett LaSala's car is rolling. No one's gonna beat that car. I hate to tell you guys. Steve Morris ain't got it. The more Steve Morris talks, the more he becomes unlikable. And I know he doesn't care. But he was next to Brett LaSala's car and he goes, "Hey, how you doing? Make sure you get this on video. Big, stock, from the factory station wagon with nothing done to it versus a little teeny tiny race car. Again, totally stock, nothing done wagon versus a teeny tiny race car. Cameraman, go up to the front and show them that you could put your fist down the intake ports with its 8,000 cubic inch SMX and turbos bigger than than this room. It's just so off-putting. Even though he's trying to be funny, you could tell that he's pissed off that a 309 cubic inch Coyote or 312 5.2 with a cast block, cast heads, but like mostly Ford parts, it's out there running bottom sixes. It's just so stupid. Sounds like a Motec system exhaust too. How much titanium was used in those pulls, Alex? None. Zero. It's on the 85. The best combo? Hell yeah, Motec. Yeah, 100% on Motec. So we're going to fuck around and find out with that. Get familiar with it. We'll see how it works on a Gen 3 motor, Gen 3 architecture, but Gen 2 transmission 6R80. Good shit. That is custom firmware. But Alex, a 10R is better. CJ Spec Whipple, good lord. Yeah, it's a Billy Badass Whipple. Hey Theo, girlfriend laughing my ass off when she saw you say hi to your girlfriend for me. Okay, look, I know who you are. She's a blonde girl. She got glasses. She just happened to be my type. Look, we can make it happen, RT. You just got to be okay with it. It's going to be like throwing a hot dog down the hallway for a couple of weeks, but it just comes right back. It's all good. Anyway, he says, I wanted a 0 kilometer car to take care of, and you didn't know how tuning really worked. After I bought it, I found your channel. I have a S650 because I wanted a 0 kilometer. Where are you from? Canada? Hey, I wanted a 0 kilometer car, and I wanted to take care of, and I didn't know how the tuning really works. After I bought it and found your channel. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's going to be tough. Because no tuning available. That comment was cringe. Yeah, did you hear that? Do we have to find it? I'm going to find it because I don't want you guys to think I'm speaking out of turn. Because it was a 1320 video. He goes, I want you guys to make sure you look at this as a bone stock wagon. He didn't say that. He was like, a wagon? Zero teeny tiny race car. Wagon? Teeny tiny race car. And I'm like, you sound so silly right now. Day 2, this was when they were in Bradenton. Because today they were in Orlando. Okay. I like Ty and that guy. Ty and Zach. They seem to be good people. So nothing wrong with them. Where is it? Brett, and then I'm trying to find Steve Morris on this video. It just looks bad. Unless it was the other live stream, the other like sick week thing. Here it is. Is this it? No. Damn. Where is the one where it was Steve Morris? So guys, tell me, is the Steve Morris video on the sick week one, or the yeah? I think it was the sick week one. Let's see. Yeah. Because he was under the car. Let me see.
Can't remember the top of my head. Well, this is pretty awesome, right? Full of cars. He is currently sitting.
Easy.
Not bad?
Yeah, not bad. Kept gas in it. It was easy.
So this morning.
Okay, it was the sick week one. So let me go sick week. day 2, I think, 2024. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. No, gosh, no, hell no. I want the sick week one. Tom Bailey, here it is. Found it.
Outside of that,
okay, check this out. Listen to Steve Morris talk about Brett's car. It just, again, I'm not a friend of Brett's, but like the way he talks about it is like kind of sideways, and I'm like, bro, it's a Coyote. It's a little Coyote. Look at this, totally stock as is.
Good morning, Mr. Steve.
good morning.
How is your week going so far?
Well, so far so good. Only up on the rail where the tools are at. Dropping valve, just overall, green snap, fat station wagon.
Here we go.
Direct comparison. Notice, it's big fat station wagon, little skinny light Mustang wagon, race car.
Yeah, like your tube chassis, big floppies. That car's on a drag radial. You're on a big floppy.
How was the drive we saw?
Oh my god, he is the most unlikable, just unlikable. Like I can't. No, thank you. I don't want nothing to do with homeboy. He is just the most unlikable guy that I've seen. Comes across as some kind of holy roller, and I just don't like it. I don't like it. Sorry, and I'm willing to say it because I'm not one of these bitches that says something nice about you, and then like in person, like like no, I don't want. I'll say how I feel. Fuck it. Let the cards fall where they may. My girl Edna watches for Tony. Edna has 4 legs and wagging tail. She would get up in those DMs with no thumbs. Alice Logic guy there, heads and cam. Steve talking like a no prepper. Stock. Yeah, exactly. More travel than a Raptor suspension. Bro, seat is damn near over the axle in the wagon. He's literally sitting in the back seat in that car. Mustang all the way. Big tube station wagon. That was sad. The tire's bigger than Houston Torta. Ignore the carbon fiber trunk doors. Unlikable is right. He is just unlikable. That one comment, Bryson says, that one comment, fuck that dude. That's what he says. I don't say fuck that dude. I'm just like, I don't want nothing to do with him. Like, I just don't want nothing to do with him. Gabbing with the black bean. Bro, literally sits in the back seat. Big, normal wagon. Little tiny race car Mustang. You have a 580 cubic inch SMX that's all billet. With like twin 104s or some shit. What are you talking about? Has his quarter panels off to service the car. Meantime, I think Brett's car has stock quarters. Relax. Brett's car is just skin. It's a tube chassis. It's just skin. So relax. Here we go. This thing's stock. No, relax. That's tube chassis up. Hybrid 3 or MGW Hybrid 3. Redhead with glasses so close. Same shit. Yeah, Canada. Thought if even Mark Zuckerberg changed his tune, Ford would too. I was just kidding. Just joking. And then Brett goes and runs today in Orlando. Did you see? I saw clips. I told you Orlando would be better than Bradenton. Every fast car hooked. Every fast car just got after it. Rarely did you see a car spin out of the hole. That was a serious car. How does the hub dyno differ in horsepower versus the roller style? In my opinion, the hub dyno shows more of a flywheel horsepower number because it's almost like 0 drivetrain loss. But it still shows some loss, of course. There's a slush-o-matic, a converter, drive shaft, axles, and brakes. But I don't think it's as severe as a chassis dyno. Yeah, fuck Justin Trudeau. Yeah, right. Like, it's got no torque. Dude, a pulley, injectors, and E85, and it made almost 1,000, which is what fully built LTs do. Fully built. Stop it. John Lucas, how much work between the track and street setup does that wagon take compared to the Mustang? Chuck Stern says, I emailed you the 6350 with a Whipple, $45,000. Seems too good to be true. If it's too good to be true, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. By the way, guys, I am selling an Overdrive for like a Whipple, like a front 20% Coyote Overdrive. I'm trying to sell it for $450 shipped with the ARP bolt. In case anyone knows anyone that needs a 20% ATI Overdrive so that the front rib actually turn it. I don't think I'm going to run the Department of Boost kit yet. So because I'm going to run the Magnuson Magnum series, by the way, go to my Instagram. Magnuson gave me a nice little shout out to kind of let everyone know what's happening. I do have a template that I'm going to show you that it's interesting, a 2-in-1 template that I'll detail on the videos coming up. Jake came by and 3D printed a 2-in-1 template. So 2 3.5s into a 120 millimeter or 5-inch coupler. And this coupler is going to go to a PMAS 120. So then I can couple the 2 Magnuson inlets to one, and it's up to me to make it work. If this works, and after we revise it, depending on if this has to be a 45 or if this has to be the, turned or offset, because you can see it's offset one way, or I can just go this way and offset it kind of on the upside. So we're working with the dimensions that we have. Jake also came by yesterday and worked on the ZR1's motor mounts and the pickup tube for the oil pan. So this Saturday, I'm going to finish videoing the initial vetting of the combo on the GT500, and I'll be bringing you guys out update videos very consistently on all 3 vehicles, only because it took that much time to accrue parts to get work done. That is video worthy. I don't just want to give you filler. I want to make sure you guys get some like, oh wow, he's working on it, this is what I did, and it tells a story. Yeah, it's a pretty badass. Like Jake kind of looked at it and he goes, what if it looks, I said, we need a 2-in-1 coupler. So I looked ever for a 2-in-1, 3.5 into a 5-inch coupler, couldn't find it. He goes, what if I make one that looks like pants? I went, what? Pants. He goes, Alex, imagine pants. I went, oh. You understand? He goes, I want it to look like pants. Put one leg, waist, one leg. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And he goes, do you want me to offset it? I go, it needs to be offset so it doesn't hit the radiator. He goes, okay, I'll make it upslope so it's not center to center. So the center of the 5-inch side is not centered. It's offset. So we're going to do that. And if we have to offset this like a 45 or something to make room for the 120 millimeter PMAS, Nick James, shout out to Nick James. He's sending me a 120 millimeter PMAS so we can use on this setup, because the 149 just has a filter that's way too long and it hits. But if in the future we want to couple it to a 149, we already have a template that we can go 3.5 to 6-inch, and that's going to be a good time. What's up, Theo? Currently waiting on some fuel lines to come up, and we can get started on tuning my car. Says Lewis, Twin Glizzy, intakes, no Diddy. Hey, if you want to sell your old GT500 PMAS, let me know a price. I might be doing that. Guess what, Bryson Witt? I just got back the ported 2650 from Kong, and it's wonderful. And I don't think I'm going to use it. There's a reason why. I'll explain later. But since the blower is not mine, it's Senior's blower, I don't want to modify it, because in order to run the TVS on the Department of Boost kit, you have to use the front sheath. And I don't want to use the front sheath. Sorry, but I got to reconfigure what I got to do. Like, I don't want to run the front sheath. I'm sorry. I just don't. It's just, I've seen too much. No. So I got to figure out what to do, if I got to sell, or I'll talk to the guy and say, hey, you want to buy it back? And if he doesn't want to buy it back, then I'll sell it. But right now I'm selling the Overdrive 20% from the front ring ATI balancer with bolt for $450 ship. As always, we appreciate the content, Jimmy Jam. Thank you. Lego jeans looks like pants. Exactly. Fuel Tech is for people who have 7 backup motors. Motec is better than Fuel Tech, says Johnny Trans. Those pants need a wrench logo on them. Thick ass pants. 3D printing accelerates development by so much. Yes. Jake had a 3D printer. He's like, I could 3D print it. How do you want it to look? How do you want to draw it? And then we went over measurements. I sent him pictures. I sent him detailed photos. I pulled out the PMAS 120 from Donnie, laid it on there, and he's like, bro, that's going to work. And then we're going to see Saturday. It is up to me to get it all in there, maybe get the car started. I received the standoff and the drive kit from Magnuson. Shout out to Todd Payne and the people at Magnuson getting me taken care of, bro. Like, what a company. What a company. Whatever I need, they're on it. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Bryson Witt says, if you choose not to run the old PMAS, I'll buy it. Just let me know whenever. Don't matter. Got it. I'll let you know. But I think I'm going to run. I have 2 of them. So literally all you need is a filter. But I'll let you know. But it's basically a JLT tube, carbon fiber, mated to a PMAS 149. It's hilarious. It works really well. Why you got to say exactly to Pegalo's comment? Damn, says Kelsar Racing. What's the front sheath? Not to be dumb. The front sheath meaning what runs the supercharger. On the balancer, you have 2. You have the rear that runs the AC and the front that runs the water pump, alternator, and supercharger. I don't want to run big boost off of the front sheath because I have a single keyed crank. So I'd have to run a crank support. I want to run the rear sheath like Magnuson does, and Magnuson was nice enough to supply me a supercharger. And when you see that, that lines up with the rear sheath, the rear ribs on, the ones closest to the block. So that gives you less load on the crankshaft when you're putting tension on the blower, and that's what I want to run. And then I said, well, what am I going to run this on? Because I want to run a TVS Roush kit on Donnie, and the Corvette might get a completely different situation. So I might be selling the Department of Boost manifold, the heat exchanger, and the Overdrive, because I don't want to ruin or modify Senior's 2650 and extend the snout on it to run. I just don't want to do that. I'm sorry. And if he's hearing it from now, whatever. I just don't want to run that. I don't want to extend stuff beyond its designed, capabilities. And RT says, Alex, from everything I've heard you say, there's no such thing as a 650ish supercharged daily if you want to get crazy to high mileage. Yeah, you can. Most Roush supercharged cars make 630 to 650 on the Roush tune, so it wasn't a big issue. 650 wheel, good pump gas. I don't think it's going to be a problem. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Oh, my God. Long day. Today, we talked about Ford releasing crate motors, Godzilla stuff with a blower, and Coyote stuff with a blower. I think it's a good package for people that want turnkey stuff and go, not a problem. But for you and I, the enthusiasts, we're going to go to Illuminator, we're going to go to FFRE, or we're going to go Built Motor, Billy Badass stuff. That motor was not ever catered for us. We also talked about Shelby not being happy, and they crashed out about some of the criticism they've received for the GT350 and 350R offerings. Rightfully so. I think that they should get the proper criticism so that if and when they decide to put something out, it's something that the people actually want. And Gen Xers and millennials are buying those cars. So you started listening. You got to start listening to the people that actually know what they're paying $100,000+ for. And then we talked a little shit about Sick Week, which is still going on. So be sure to check out Sick Week tomorrow morning. They're going to be in Gainesville. And then after Gainesville, they go back to SGMP on Saturday. So if you're watching on the Cletus's shit, his streaming network, it's apparently decent. Go ahead and catch up on that. But we know that if Brett's car runs a sub 650 in each track, there's no way Steve Morris can catch him, because Steve Morris, I don't think, is going quicker than like a 20 ever. I don't know. Who knows? All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys on Sunday morning for Peasant Chat. We talk to poor people on Sunday mornings. We'll hang out and see what happens then. Maybe by then we'll see what happened at Sick Week, and we'll wrap up everything there at the end of the week. Have a good rest of your night. I'll see you guys on Sunday.